Whew. Live. Oh, reset minutes. Good. Oh, we're live. We're live. We're live. Why is this the favorite part of my entire day? Well, you guys know I always get on like 2 minutes early just to make sure I'm ready to roll. You know, my parents were in the Navy, and so my dad always taught me, if you're not early, you late, playa. So I hope that you guys are jumping in, and you guys know we do this for you. You're on the way to work. We want to hang out, man. Hopefully you get a little bit of inspiration, encouragement. Today's Good Friday, which means it's going to be amazing. So Good Friday is literally my favorite day of the entire week because we get to hang out. Because we do. Did I? I don't know if I did. Did I put that on X this morning? I was so focused on my Good Friday segment. I really wanted to focus on that, and I did not focus on putting it on X. Let me put that on there real quick. X, 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 X. Wow. Cool. Okay, it's on X now. Good. There it is. There it is. There it is. Get ready, guys. Get ready. It's going to be an amazing show, man. You are going to love it. I promise. Good morning, business builders. Rise and shine. It's 7 a.m. Welcome to Business for Breakfast, where business is the most important meal of the day. I'm your host, Aaron Novinger, the Venti Business Guy, otherwise known as VBG. Our goal on this show is to make you 1% smarter today by unpacking business news. Over the last 24 hours, sprinkled with tips and tricks to help you mind your own business. Now, thank you, Justin. Appreciate that, bro. I know you guys aren't here for me. I mean, you like my voice, but you're actually here for the morning mark. And to me, that's the most important thing, because guess what? There's no props required, no drinks, no gear, just you and a functioning brain. We'll work with what we've got. Wherever you are, desk, truck, kitchen, job site, standing or sitting, it doesn't matter. Pick one thing you will finish today. Not a list, not 10, not 3, just one. Now, mentally, mark it down and write it down. That is the line in the sand. That's the thing the day doesn't get to erase. This is the pause that sharpens the edge, the moment that turns noise into signal. It's the tiny act that makes business owners dangerous in a good way. That, my friends, is your morning mark. Your day's officially started. All right, my beautiful people, you drive, I dive, but I always say, buckle up, buttercup, let's roll. But try to say that 10 times. Buckle up, buttercup, buckle up, blah, blah, blah. Okay, you got it. Okay, now, are you guys ready for, quite honestly, my favorite segment? Well, except for Friday, because Friday, let me take that back. Wasabi Wednesday, because you guys know I love tea. I'm Italian, so Italians love tea. But Good Friday for me is like a reset. And so it's really about today just being the day of having the lens of kindness and gratitude, love and appreciation. That's today. And you'll know that each day we have a theme, but it's because this show is for you. And it's not just about your business. It's about your spirit, your mind, and your body. It's about holistically everything, because in the end, the demons that we fight most are our own demons, right? And so today is going to be amazing for you guys. And I can't wait, man. I can't wait for today's show. But you know, we got to start with this day in history, because remember, the goal here is to get 1% smarter while you laugh and you cry and you have a good time, right? And so we always start with this day in history, because it's insane. All right. Guess what? You're not going to believe it. This day in history. And you guys know we do this show, it's live, and everything we talk about is up to date to the date, today being February 27th. This is the day that really highlights the shaping of like the modern world, from chemical discovery of like common household sweeteners to the political maneuvers that really define the borders of the American West. And honestly, the birth of the cinematic legend, which is really amazing. So today in history, 1879 was the discovery of Saccharine. Yes, that's right. He was a researcher at Johns Hopkins University. He accidentally discovered the very first artificial sweetener. So after working with coal tar derivatives, coal tar, how good do you think coal tar is on the human body? I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but probably not great. He noticed his dinner tasted unusually sweet because he hadn't washed his hands. Okay, that's disgusting and disgusting. Okay. But basically today, 1879 was really the birth of the modern diet. Yes, that's right. Of all fake sweeteners, all of them way stronger than sugar, all of them reversing metabolism. Yes, all of that. That started today, 1879. Today in 1935 was the invention of nylon. Wallace Carrollers, a chemist at DuPont, successfully synthesized the very first completely synthetic fiber. Nylon revolutionized the textile industry, replacing silk in stockings and eventually becoming essential for parachutes and tires during World War II. Okay, now I was stretching this like rubber. Nylon is not stretchy, so I don't know why I was doing. That's not a duck, by the way, if you're hearing this. I'm actually making a squeaky noise as I'm pulling something that stretches like rubber, and nylon does not stretch. So scratch that entire duck noise. It wasn't a duck call. It's supposed to be nylon making noise. 1951, this day in history. The 22nd Amendment is ratified. Yeah, this constitutional milestone officially limited U.S. presidents to 2 terms in office. Now, we can argue that we've had many presidents over the last couple hundred years that were able to get their 2 terms in and then elect somebody else and kind of work through them as a proxy. We know that happens, right? It happens actually probably way more than we realize it does. What else happened this day in history? You're not going to believe it. 1844, Dominican Republic independence. So after 22 years of Haitian rule, the DR declared its independence, led by Juan Pablo Duarte. The successful revolt created the modern sovereign nation on the eastern part of Hispaniola. What? Hispaniola? That was a real thing? Sounds like me talking Spanish. This day in history, 1922, Supreme Court upholds women's suffrage. Yeah, that's right. In Lesser versus Garrett, the U.S. Supreme Court unanimously upheld the constitutionality of the 19th Amendment, dismissing a challenge that sought to prevent women from voting in Maryland. Yeah, no bueno. This day in history, the District of Columbia Organic Act. So Congress placed the District of Columbia under the jurisdiction of the federal government, formally establishing the capital's unique legal status. Very similar like the Vatican, where it's kind of like its own sovereign nation within Italy, and literally is actually defined globally as the world's smallest country. That's the Vatican, okay? DC is a variation of that, right? So it's like its own sovereign governed nation within the nation. So in a sense, the DC is as close to the Vatican as you can get. Still has its own police, its own thing, but it's kind of its own sovereign thing within a big sovereign thing, right? That was this day, today. DC basically was formed. Is that not just crazy, man? Like when you get to work and you're like, you're not going to believe this. You know what today, literally, you're going to be the most annoying human alive because you're going to learn so much crap from me every single day. And you get to be the star of the show. You get to be the most interesting person at work. Okay. Famous birthdays. Elizabeth Taylor. Come on now. This chick was a superstar. Her role in Cleopatra, Who's Afraid of Virginia Woolf. But then she became a huge advocate for AIDS and HIV, and which was just really fantastic. What are the birthdays? Oh my God. Okay, so Henry Wadsworth Longfellow, the most popular American poet of the 19th century. Okay, Paul Revere's Ride, Song of Hiawatha. Today's Chelsea Clinton's birthday, daughter of Bill and Hillary, known for her global health and advocacy work. Right. That's what we know that the media spins about the Clintons, right? we think of Chelsea like she's known worldwide for her, like she is literally Mother Teresa, but she's just super white. She's like a white version of Mother Teresa. She's just so into nobody dying of disease and like helping all of the poor and sick people on earth with her advocacy. Yeah, whatever. Okay. Space. Fun fact today. Oh my God, dude. Nothing really in space, but wait until you hear about the fun fact today, because every day we have a fun fact. Okay. Today, ready for this? If you were born in the 80s or born in the 70s, grew up in the 80s, party in the 90s, today is your day. Today is National Retro Day. For all you Gen Xers, that's damn right. Okay. It's a day to celebrate music, fashion, technology of the past. Okay. Just as a favor, just go back and just go to YouTube and just do best music videos of the 80s. And by the way, when you watch these, you're going to realize what pure genius was back in the day, because it was just unlocked creativity with no assistance of machines. It was actually pure brain power. But also you get to see everything. You get to see the music, the fashion, and the technology. So go watch that and then appreciate it, because I'm telling you, amazing, absolutely amazing, right? Now, how was that for you guys? I knew you would love it. Okay, so this day in history is always one of my faves, because again, the purpose of today, you get 1% smarter today. And I guarantee if your ears are working and you can hear this dude's voice before we even get to the juicy news, which is coming up, you have no idea how much you learned just from this day in history. Now, you guys know this content, you don't have to pay for it, but it's not free. So as a favor to Aaron, if you guys wouldn't mind just quickly liking, subscribing, it just basically tells Google that, hey, you know what? This dude, I want to hear him again, right? So thank you guys for your support. And today's Good Friday. And I always spend extra time thanking you guys, because the show doesn't exist without you. The show exists for you, for the mom and pop venti shop owners. You need somebody championing you. And that's the reason why we do the show. It's to champion you. Okay. So thank you so much. Now, can we jump into some juicy news? Juicy news. All right. I can't say juicy news without singing it 3 times, and you guys know I'm saying. And so I just hope that I don't actually lose people that are actually listening to the show because of my singing. I hope not. But by the way, let me know in the comments if my singing is in key, off key. Just tell me in the comments. And you have questions about a business or something, let me know in the comments. Okay. Now, can we jump into some juicy news? Because it is insane what's going on today, like insane. Okay. Remember, today is Friday, Good Friday. Okay. Which means it's a day of gratitude, right? Today, the lens you put on is that of gratitude and kindness. That's Good Friday. The world beats us up. And so the world needs a little bit of love today, especially us, But here's a story. Here's a title. So the Senate Democrats introduced Tariff Refund Act prioritizing small businesses. So here's the story. On February 26th, Senators Ron Wyden, Edward Markey, and Jeanne Sheehan and 23 colleagues released the Tariff Refund Act of 2026. It mandates U.S. Customs and Border Protection to issue 4 refunds with the interest on approximately $175 billion in illegal Trump tariffs struck down by the Supreme Court, with a 180-day deadline and explicit prioritization for small importers by eliminating red tape and coordinating with the SBA. Now, why does this matter to us? You guys know we talk about tariffs all the time. And when you talk about tariffs, you have to realize is that it is not the other country that's paying the tariff. It's actually, remember, we talk about money is fungible. It's neither created nor destroyed. It's like matter. Okay. So quite literally, it's everywhere. It's like air, oxygen. It's fungible. It's like here, everywhere, right? That's how money is. And that's how it is in the States. I'm not saying it is everywhere else in the world. But because of the unique situation we created in 1970, I think 4, between us and Saudi Arabia, where we invented the petrodollar scheme with Saudi Arabia. From that point forward, money really has been fungible for the United States of America. Okay, so whenever a tariff is imposed on a country, we've talked about this before. Who has to pay this is the importer. The U.S.-based company has to pay this tariff before dock even releases the container. It must be paid. So that means that the money is coming from within, not elsewhere, not there, here. Okay. And you think, oh, that's really shitty. And it is, by the way. But remember, that is short term. What it's designed to do is to create long-term behavior pattern shifts, where we all know pain, pleasure, and pattern recognition, right? We all know this. So we all know that when things are painful, we avoid things. And when things are pleasurable, we lean toward that, right? That's what I'm talking about. This specifically is talking about the money that was raised internally to put pressure on, because these countries know if the customer changes their buying habit, they're probably never coming back. So tariffs will affect us temporarily and quickly, like a cut. But tariffs to the country it's imposed on is an amputation. That's right. To us, it's a cut and it bleeds. But to the country it's imposed on, it's an amputation. And unless that country's a freaking lizard, that shit ain't growing back. All right. All right. So you got to understand, like when they're talking about, because there was Supreme Court shot down one of the big reasons that Trump used for tariffs. Now he's going to impose the other tariff rule about the 15% for 150 days or 180 days, whatever it is. But that is not going to fix it. But I also know this dude is always trying to figure out the workaround. And so I know he's already working on the workaround to it. But you tell me, I mean, the money that's generated, that came out of our pocket. To be honest with you, I freaking love that. I'd love that. And I have great friends of mine that I'm in peer advisory groups with that own big manufacturing companies. And we were just literally, we had our peer advisory group meeting yesterday. We do it every Thursday at noon. And it's just a group of us business owners, like-minded, high capacity individuals. And we're working on our own goals. And we do it every like 12 weeks. And so, but you get more done in literally 12 weeks than you do like for years, because it's helps the team, gives clarity. They hold me accountable. And more importantly, they help me reduce mistakes, especially the ones that cost me money. And so it's important to understand that a couple of them do importing, manufacturing, and literally have to pay the tariffs. And it greatly affects their business. I can promise you, they would love to be able to have a refund for any tariff that was imposed on them initially illegally. Thank you. Remember, this show is not about left or right. It's not about red or blue. It's about people, man. What is good for people? That is all I care about. That's it. Why do you think I do this show? I champion you, the mom and pop Venti business owner, right? I champion you because you deserve it. And nobody champions you. And so that's why we do this show. It's so you feel knocked today, needed, appreciated, and valued, because you deserve it. And by the way, we're talking about the peer advisory groups. If that sounds interesting to you guys, you guys know that we have open source peer advisory groups. You don't have to pay for them. You don't have to be one of our clients. We believe as a firm that anything that benefits you, that helps change your life, should not be behind a locked paywall. It's not fair. It's not fair that only those that have the money and the resources get access to the same benefits that the big boys do, that Big Co does. It's not fair. And so that's why we changed that. We're the only accounting firm on earth that is accounting plus accountability. We're the only one on earth. Because again, Rebecca and I have always been small business owners, not accountants. Your heartbeat is our heartbeat. What you feel, we feel. So, and if you guys have questions about this stuff, you can hit us up two different ways, right? You can go to businessforbreakfastradio.com, submit a question. I'll reply back to it directly or read it on air. Or you can speak to me directly at my own personal scheduling calendar at speakwithaaron.com. That's speakwithaaron.com. So hit me up. You have questions. You want to talk strategy. You've been stuck somewhere. You're dealing with paralysis by analysis. You want to talk about accounting, the new OBBBA laws, payroll, whatever it is. Hit us up. We got you. Okay. But also let me know in the comments. And by the way, don't forget, this show is just a labor of love, and it's free to listen. But there is a cost, and that is simply a like and a follow. Thank you, guys. You have no concept of how grateful I am. This is my 32nd show, so I've basically been doing it for a little over a month, and you guys have no idea the feedback you guys are giving me. I mean, trust me, this dude gets a lot of negative feedback because Ron just says it how it is. But you guys are really, really championing me the same way I'm trying to champion you, and thank you. Today's Good Friday. Thank you. You guys are amazing. Now, can we talk more news, please? Justin Welch on X. This dude is one of my favorite follows. I've called this into the universe that he and I will be doing a workshop, a seminar, something together for mom pop shops because he's amazing. But he basically states an easy way to network is to help people without keeping score. For some of you guys, your car swerved and you almost ran off the road because your mind just melted. Let me say that again. An easy way to network is to help people without keeping score. What does that mean, man? Be useful. Help. Like, if your heartbeat, I'm going to tell you guys something, and it kind of changed my life, to be honest with you. So many of you guys know that I was in ministry for 10 years and I pastored for 7 of those 10 years. And during that time, I had an amazing opportunity where I was able to, I got called into ministry by my mentor, Louis Quintana. He's still pastoring today in California. And he, like me, bivocational, is still a registered nurse today. And Louis is just, he's amazing, man. And so he called me into ministry in 2006. And by the way, I never had any belief in myself. I was only 28 years old. I don't know, I was in my late 20s running a company. We're doing, I don't know, 15, 20 million a year, not gross revenue, but gross profit. I think I had 100 employees. And Louis like, you got a call in your life for leadership, like ministry leadership. I'm like, no, you got the wrong dude, bro. And he goes, no, you don't know. No. I was like, no, listen, I'm a dirty dude. And he said, well, the thing is if everybody was clean, there'd be nobody in ministry. And I was like, okay, touche. And I said, he goes, so he calls me in and I jump in, literally cannonball into ministry, get everybody wet. And then 2 or 3 years in, I fell in love with it. And so I took Louis to lunch, and I always call Louis my Hispanic Jesus. So for me, he's Jesus. And because he always speaks in parables. Okay, so Louis doesn't actually, he'll tell you what he thinks through a story, which, by the way, I do the same thing as I just thought about it. But I take him to lunch and I say, Louis, I want to do more of the weekend stuff and less of running the practice. I want to do more of the weekend stuff at church and less running the practice. And he said, when I first got in ministry years ago, I was struggling with the same thing. And he said, my mentor gave me the best definition of ministry I've ever heard. He said, don't think of ministry as in what you do on the weekend. He said, first of all, Jesus did no ministering with the church, none. Okay. He said, but think of ministry in its most pure form as simply helping people suffer less. Simply helping people suffer less. And what Louis told me, he said, what I realized is that the next week I realized what I do in the hospital was actually more ministry than what I did in the weekend. And I realized, oh my gosh, what we do in the practice is way more ministry that we do on the weekend. And I vowed from that moment, so from 08 or 09 around there, that for the rest of my life, I would vow to help people suffer less. I would vow to network to help people. I would vow to be useful for the rest of my life and never work for a dollar bill again. And I can tell you since 08, 09, that's how I've done it. And to be honest with you, yes, I've had a lot of chaos and turmoil, but when it comes to the warring between getting paid and what I do and feeling a disconnect, bro, it changes you. It changes you. And by the way, you know that if you run a service-based business, meaning your customer is people, you know that you can make that ministry, right? If you mow yards, you understand that when you do it right, it's ministry. You're helping your client, your customer suffer less because of the work you do. Because if you don't do it, they have to do it. So yes, money is the byproduct of helping people suffer less. It's not the reason, it's the byproduct. Are you freaking following this, dude? Like for some of you, this has changed your life, man. You get it, right? Like if what Justin Welch is talking about, an easy way to network is to help people without keeping score. If your focus, literally starting on Monday, is I don't work for money anymore, I only work till people suffer less, including a company you work for, your boss. You know that if you have a boss, you're literally put in place to be ministry to that individual, meaning your only job is to help that person suffer less. That's it. You want to know the people that literally the doors open up and like, oh my God, they've got the Midas touch. No, they don't. This person has a spirit of helping people suffer less. And those individuals champion sift like cream floating to the top, right? Because that's not how most people are. That's a we person, not a me person. And you understand that we people is a very small minority of the people. I'm going to give you, if you have a job and you're listening to me right now, I'm going to give you the secret to unlocking unlimited favor at your job. Ready? Ready? Get to work 15 minutes early. As soon as you get there, if your boss is there, greet your boss. How's things going? Anything you need me to jump on first thing this morning? And before you leave, hey boss, I'm about to jet. Before I jet, 15 minutes before you head out, set an alarm and go to your boss and say, hey, before I head out, anything I can help you with before I jet? Have a great day. Talk to you tomorrow. Do you have any concept? Those people have mindset who don't care about keeping score. They don't do it because they've got this little whiteboard where like, if I do this 10 times, if you just do it because it's your operating system, it's how you're wired. When you start that, your life changes from that day forward. That day forward. So when Justin Welsh talks about this, man, it hits me hard. Okay. What else is going on in the news today? Oh my word. Okay. You guys know AI is huge, man. And by the way, there's this brand new thing, it's like the internet, like Google, and you've got like AI, LLM, and you've got like what they call like crawl bots or something like that, which is like that, but extra. And where they just talk about Claude, literally just came out, or Anthropic just came out with its latest updates and replaced all the Claude bots. Dude, it's insane. So here's the title. Claude Sonnet 4.6 AI upgrade delivers enterprise power at small business prices. Are you freaking kidding me? What? Oh, okay. Here's the story. Anthropic released Claude Sonnet 4.6 on February 17th. Okay. Featuring a 1 million token context window for analyzing entire client histories or yearly financials, plus 11% better instruction following and automated workflows. It runs on existing platforms like Amazon Bedrock with no extra infrastructure costs. Because you know that the whole Crawbot thing, you got to get your freaking Apple Mini and all this bullshit, right? It required a bunch of hardware. This is software, not the hardware stuff. Why this matters to us mom and pop Venti shops, we can now automate marketing plans from a year of customer data, generate reports, reconcile our books in minutes, cutting labor hours and boosting decisions without hiring specialists. What? You guys know I do accounting. And I have loathed the software that we use because, I don't know, it's like when you have one gas station in the middle of the desert. I mean, okay, I understand if you want to charge like $5 to $10 per gallon, but when you want to charge $100 a gallon because you can, because there's nobody else, I have a problem with that, right? And so that's always been my thing, is that in accounting, we're forced to use very specific software, made to use it. I hate it. It's not okay with me, but at the same time, what am I supposed to do? And so what this just happened right here is about to be copied and pasted for my notes today, because for the love of Mary, this is huge. Oh my word. Okay, so that just got pasted to today's notes because I'll be reviewing that over the weekend. I told you, man, the teacher always learns more than the student, right? So when I read this, my reaction is not rehearsed. This is, what the hell, right? All right, here's a story. Here's the title. Radar launches AI tools to turn brick-and-mortar stores into real-time data engines. On February 26th, Radar rolled out new competencies via its Radar Plus platform, fitting room intelligence. What? Hold on. Fitting room intelligence, which is analyzes try-ons for size patterns and pairing, floor set IQs, optimizing 3D layouts from shopper movement, and real-time availability alerts. It's like 15-minute replenishment signals, all powered by RFID sensors already in over 1,000 stores. Like, why is this huge for us mom and pop Venti shops? Because only the big boys have the resources to be able to analyze data. Remember, what separates great small business from great large business is market. M, and it's MRKT, money, resources, knowledge and training, and technology, MRKT. And unless you are huge and you've got huge economies of scale, you don't have access to this. Do you understand? AI is quite literally leveling the playing field. This is, you guys know, I've preached this from the rooftops for years. Until a mom and pop Venti shop gets somewhere between 25 and 50 employees, which means they're not a Venti shop anymore. That's about when they start having the available resources, and that's human and currency and talent resources to start spinning some of the plates of business, right? And this is one of those, the sales and marketing plate, usually required a huge back office of researchers and data analysts and all people that knew how to read and interpret data. Not anymore. Radar launches AI tools to turn brick-and-mortar stores into real-time data engines. Mom and pops have access to the same tech as the big boys do? What? Dude, this is enormous. And by the way, for you guys listening, if this is something that is like, oh my God, dude, I gotta talk to someone. My brain's always moving. Look, there's one human being on earth that loves to nerd out about this stuff as much as you, who also happens to own and run an accounting firm. And so if you have questions, like you're like, hey, Ron, hey, I've got this idea for a business, or I've got a service business that I want to start, and you're the expert at starting this crap for under $1,000. How do I do it? Or look, dude, all the stuff you're talking about, these new SBA loans or whatever, I need it, but I don't have the resources to be able to get a hold of it. What do you suggest? Look, if you want to talk consulting strategy, you want to talk accounting, you want to talk taxes, you want to talk about payroll, you want to talk about business, whatevs, you can hit us up at businessforbreakfastradio.com or speak to me directly at speakwithaaron.com, speakwithaaron.com, aaron.com. You got it now, right? Okay, now let's jump back into some amazing news, because there is so much to talk about today, okay? And that's why I'm like, dude, you don't even understand. We haven't even got to the gratitude part yet. When at the end today, man, gratitude, Good Friday for me is the highlight of my week. I always start, you guys know, if you hit me on Monday and you hit me on Friday, we always start on a high note. I bookend this thing like a freaking Oreo cookie, okay? So Monday is always Magical Monday. And I usually start with like a Josh video, JAWSH on TikTok. He's like that surfer dude, but he's like snowboarding all the time. He's like, you know what rips, dude? Like half of my Olympic coverage came from him, okay? When you look at his coverage of curling, he's like, I don't even know what happened, bro, but like something huge, bro. Like that dude just gets me going, right? But Good Friday is like that for me as well. It's the top of the Oreo cookie, man. And I think you're going to be impressed with today's Good Friday session. But that's why you guys got to hang, man. You got to hang. We got to hang through this day in history. You got to hang through the news, and you got to hang. And don't forget, we're going to finish with a Scott Adams reframe, which, by the way, it's from chapter 2, which is the mental reframes. Oh my God, bro. Like, just wait, hold on. I know it's been good. It's about to get a million times better. Okay. All right, here we go. And don't forget, like and subscribe. I do this. It's my only requirement for the show. Never money, only like and subscribe. Only because it's a brand new show. I'm like 32 episodes in, and the algorithm needs to know if you guys dig it or not. And I hope you do. But even if you don't, if you could just let the algorithm know that you do, it would be amazing for me. Like and subscribe. Thank you. And it's a Good Friday, right? So this is the day that we pay it forward. So help me pay it forward to you, okay? All right. What else is going on this day in history? God, there is so much. I have to literally take this and paste it, because I think this is something that we can initiate for our customers. I'm like really, really, really excited about it. Okay, so right here, I gotta make my little line here and paste this. You guys know I do this stuff real time, right? So everything that I learn on the show with you, I apply and take it to the accounting firm, and then we apply anything that's relevant or use it as inspiration for something we're about to, create or whatever. Today, here's the title: National Retail Solutions partners with Crasdale Foods to equip independent bodegas with modern tech. Yes, it's finally happening. So announced February 26th, NRS, which is National Retail Solutions, and Crasdale Foods teamed up to integrate affordable POS technology and insights with grocery distribution for independently owned neighborhood stores across 8 Northeast states. Why this is huge for us mom and pop venti shops, okay? The corner shop is now getting streamlined operations. Remember we said what separates great small business from great large business? Proper cash flow management and the use and the knowledge of how to do it. Those big boys know how to utilize MRKT, money, resources, knowledge and training, and technology. And now mom and pops are getting access to it too. That's all I've ever asked for. That's it. You guys know I wake up every day and my only job on earth is to champion the little guy. My only job on earth is to champion and give voice to the voiceless. And the mom and pop venti shop has been abused horribly for decades, and nobody pays attention, and it's not okay. And so when you start to see companies like ours and like NRS and Crasdale, who are like, no, we need to level the playing field, not remove big co, just level the playing field between little co and big co. That's it. Let me ask you something. Do you think it's fair? Let me ask you something. If you had an idea to start a business and you never wanted to be this huge thing like a Starbucks or McDonald's, okay, but you wanted to be the best damn coffee shop in town. That was it. Just the best damn coffee shop in town. And let's say you've had the shop open for 10 years. And the last 10 years, your town, 7, 8 years, the last 10 years has voted you best coffee shop in town. Do you think it's fair that that individual has to pay the highest cost of goods and services to any business on earth because they have no economy of scale because their only desire was to be the best in town? Do you think that's fair? I don't. I don't think it's fair that the coffee shop down the street has to spend $10,000 to $12,000 a month on food costs for their sandwiches and stuff, when Panera pays $7,000 for literally better quality, more quantity, better quality than the single-owned mom and pop venti shop sandwich shop. Not okay. It's not okay. So when you see firms doing this, all we're trying to do is level the playing field, because I believe, I don't know, I'm kind of crazy, but I don't know, 50 years from now, I don't want to be waking up with only a Five Guys, McDonald's, Chick-fil-A, like that's it. Like, and by the way, none of those are bad. I don't have issues with any of it, but none of that is the spirit of America. The spirit of America is the land of opportunity, the land of authenticity. It's not about like having 30,000 locations. It's about you living your dream. And it's not okay that, you have a mom and pop who can't get access to McDonald's pricing on food, because what's happening is that we've never seen in history. Mom and pop venti shops are going out of business at a rate we've never seen in history because they can't compete. They can't get talent. They can't pay. They pay the highest cost of everything on their P&L, including freaking pest control. It's not okay. And so when you see companies doing like this, to me, this just, I don't know, man, this just gets my spirit excited. I hope this gets your spirit excited. And by the way, if your spirit is excited, as is excited, if you could just hook a brother up and do a like and, subscribe or something, or even just track down a little note of something you learned today, right? Even that, put that in the comments, okay? That is everything to me. And you have no idea how much I appreciate you. And every single week I get more and more live people. And this is at 7 a.m., man. Like, this is a big deal for a lot of you guys. Thank you. I want to be that mini church service while you're on the way to work, because the world is trying to beat you up by the time you get to the office. Why can't we get to work refreshed, right? I want you getting to work refreshed. That's the purpose of Business for Breakfast, right? Now, let's see. What story? Let's see. Here we go. What? This is huge for us, man. Title: Mortgage rates drop below 6% for the first time in over 3 years. Wow. And by the way, in May when Jerome was out, oh, bro, Trump is going to put somebody else in there who's going to be basically very big on Mr. Orange Man policies. And I'm telling you right now, that is going to be, you're about to see within the next 90 days, rates that we saw. By the way, I'm going to make a prediction. We will not see 2020, 2021 rates, because that was basically, that was basically quantitative easing. All right. Right. So, but I'm talking about like actually reducing the rates to trigger stimulus, right? Like stretching something to cause it to grow, right? This, you're going to see that 3 or 4% is coming. Like I feel it. Okay. I feel 3 to 4. I feel that this dude has just been waiting. It's a dam, and he's got to wait for Jerome to get out of the office before he can put something, and then he can say, release the water, release it. Because you understand, mortgage rates are tied to loan rates and everything. And we just talked about it this week, that literally the SBA is redoing their loan rates starting March 1. And so we said, if you're working on an SBA loan, don't lock in your rate until next week. It's coming, bro. It's coming. You can feel it. You can sense it, right? There is a freight train coming your way. And usually you can feel the energy in the air of the train oftentimes before you see it. Do you feel the air? You can feel it, right? Yeah. The environment's changing. And remember, we don't play politics here. This isn't left or right. I mean, look, go back to Billy Clinton, man. That dude was fantastic for the country. Yes, he liked women, but I don't know of a president that gets in that role who don't like women or don't like people, you know what I'm saying? Like men or women, you know what I'm saying? Like you guys know what I'm talking about here. Okay. But what do you guys think, man? Like, to me, this was it was powerful. I wanted you guys to kind of hear, because to me, this is nothing but encouragement. Okay. So now I want to talk to you guys something, being Good Friday and being the day of gratitude. I want to chat with you guys about something that a lot of you guys don't even know you're doing. Okay. And I saw this video a couple of days ago, and it was a guy talking about breaking down the law of attraction and the law of detachment. And he said basically, and he was laying it all out, talking about stats and how the body works and blah, blah. And it was like, look, he basically is like, the deal is that you understand that this is what dictates everything. And so what for us, the law of attraction basically means when you're interacting with people, okay, you remember, nobody reacts to you, meaning they don't do it without you. So when you are looking at everybody around you and you see how they treat you, it's a direct reflection of how you treat them. They're not doing anything to you. They are reflecting you. They're not doing anything to you. You're not a victim. They're a mirror. They're reflecting you. So if you guys are like, dude, Aaron, it's like, dude, everybody just wants to hang out with you and blah, blah. Yeah, but bro, my entire life, like, dude, the greatest salesman in the world, Og Mandino, this book right here, right here. There's one thing in here he talks about that changed my life. And he talked about the power of love and how you greet people. And he says, to each whom I confront, I will approach in only one way. To myself and in secret, I will say, I love you. I love you. I know outside of the world, we don't agree on a lot of things, but I love you. I love your uniqueness. I love your stubbornness. I love your craziness. I love your quirkiness. I love you. We might not be friends. We might just be cordial. We might, whatever. But you guys understand, hang out with me. And I greet every human being that I come in contact with, even if I've never met you, as a long lost friend who's been reunited. And because of that, people mirror me. And a lot of people will look and like, I don't understand. Like, I try, I do this, I do that, and nobody treats me the way that they treat you. Right. But it's because people are just a mirror of you. So if you want that, start treating people with love. Right. So the attraction is simple. If you're not liking the way people are treating you, the only thing you can do is change you. That's it. Change you. Okay. So this is undeniable proof. Okay. So if you want $1 million business, right, but you still spend your nights scrolling instead of refining your systems, you have an identity match. The reason why you're suffering and struggling right now, law of attraction, is because you want to be somewhere, but your actions are not lining up with who you want to be. I need you to hear me. The only way that this war going on internally that you have between who you think you're supposed to be and who you are today has everything to do with your daily habits and routines. If you're the person that says, like with me, I can't even fathom being the guy that's like, oh my God, I want to do all this stuff in business, but not being up at 3 or 4 in the morning, not studying, not prepping, not doing this, not everybody knows about me. My routines are set. Nobody goes out with me because they know. Well, first, I'm always the DD because I've been sober. Literally, November 25th is my sober date. And I've been sober since November 25th of 2010. So going on 16 years now. So I'm always a designated driver, which means by midnight, I'm always asleep. But by 8 o'clock, my routine is set. I take my pills. I drink my cider vinegar and honey tea. I start my routine. It's the same every day. My routine and my habits align with who I see myself as. This is law of attraction. You know, I want to be this person. Great. Are you getting up at 5 a.m., doing your daily meds, like whatever that is to you? You know, you're journaling or whatever, going to the gym. You understand the only way you can get rid of that cortisol of stress in your body, you have to burn it off. You literally have to burn off the stress. And it takes about 45 minutes on a treadmill to remove the cortisol from the body. One of the most dangerous hormones, chemicals in the body, and our bodies are flooded with it because you're not doing the work, right? The law of attraction is simple, okay? If the identity gap, if you want $1 million business, but you still spend your nights scrolling instead of refining your systems, you have an identity mismatch. The Hormozzi rule, I love Alex Hormozzi. Confidence doesn't come from affirmations. It comes from a stack of undeniable proof that you are who you say you are. Example, you aren't trying to be a marketer. You're a marketer because you send 50 cold emails a day. We don't talk about talking yet. We walk the walk. We don't talk the talk. You can't get alignment and you can't get peace in your spirit and soul until your identity gap is fixed. You get it? Now, detachment. This is what we call the first date rule. Okay, so it's the most relatable part for you guys. Okay, so if you're on a first date and you're desperate for that person to like you, and you spend the entire time thinking about how you look, what you're saying, how you're eating, what that looks like, you're nervous. Remember, energy is transferable. People feel it. People sense it. That's why a desperate salesman doesn't sell anything, because as that person comes in, this person is repelled. It's a magnet. It's a reverse polarity magnet. It's the same polarity magnet. Coming here pushes. That's how it works. That's what they're talking about here. You're anxious. You have a vibe and energy of anxiety. Okay. If you are desperate for a specific thing in business, right? You need a certain like count, or you need a certain amount of revenue to be happy, right? You're going to make bad short-term decisions. Okay. So the law of detachment simply states, do the work because you love it, not because you have a goal. Do the work for the journey, not the destination. You do it because you love it. People are like, dude, Novinger, how the hell do you do what you do on a daily basis? It's not difficult. It's not. I learned it from Scott Adams. He taught me systems over goals. That was one of the greatest, probably first reframes he taught me years ago. Engineer your lifestyle in such a way that you become addicted to your habits and your routines. Don't do it for discipline. Do it for addiction. You guys understand the 3 P's of primal existence: pain, pleasure, pattern recognition. Pain, pleasure, pattern recognition. And you understand that every living organism on Earth has these 3 primal functions, not just humans. I'm talking disgusting furry spiders. I'm talking blades of grass. I'm talking about amoebas. I'm talking about trees. I'm talking about whales. I'm talking about starfish. I'm talking about plankton. I'm talking about everything is moving toward pain or pleasure and building patterns around it. What this is talking about here, okay, is you've got to build a lifestyle of doing the work because you enjoy the work you're doing, not for discipline. Discipline is not lasting, right? Pain, pleasure, that's not lasting. Okay. That's it. Pain, pleasure is lasting. Pain, we avoid pain, work toward pleasure. That's why systems always is better than goals, right? You guys get this, right? This is not overly complicated. Hey, Kev, 17-year-old high schooler, just completed the largest business competition for high schoolers in South Carolina. Shut up, my sister works there. I participated in an entrepreneurship event, but I did not place. Oh, dude, that's awesome. Place and rankings. I started a pressure washing business. Shut the hell up, dude. Shut the hell up, Kevin. Kevin, we have to be talking, bro. My performance is making me consider if I'm a fit for the entrepreneur career. Also, yes, considering college. Any advice? Yes, bro. Tons and tons. I'm doing WGU right now, Western Governors University. In my opinion, it's probably the greatest for individuals like us, meaning we're older, we've got careers, we've got other stuff we have to do other than go to school. It's competency based. And so as you get to your class, you opt out and you test out. But I love WGU, and they also are the only school that I know that does their semesters in 6 months time. And you get, I think they charge $4K, but you get as many classes done as you can in that 6 month period. So you can get a 4-year degree in 1 to 2 years. Yeah. And so right now I'm just finishing my business degree because my goal is in the spring, a year from now, I'm LSATs because in my opinion, Beck and I have talked about this, the two trades that screw mom and pop venti shops the most, that they need the most help with, that they need somebody, they need the big brother standing between them and the school bully. It happens to be accounting and legal. For some reason, attorneys get divided into two camps. Attorneys that charge a lot of money, who happen to be phenomenal attorneys, or those that don't, and who take advantage of the little guy. I don't think that's fair. And so Beck and I kind of decided I'm going to finish up my degree, jump into law school, and we're going to take care of our mom and pop shops for accounting and for legal, you know? And so Kev, hopefully that gives you a little bit of inspiration, some ideas. And so when it comes to, for this in particular, you guys have to understand that for the law of detachment, you have to remove the outcome and you have to learn to love the journey, right? So, and it's also being detached from what other people think of you. I've been a black sheep my entire life. And so I've always been the guy standing, barking up a tree that nobody's ever been barking up. I'm so used to being by myself in my thoughts and in my quirkiness and everything that I need 0% validation in anything. And because I've taken me years to master the law of detachment, but it's just working because you love the work and you love the process and you love the game of doing the work, not the outcome of the work. And then law of attraction, when you realize that how every single human treats you is not because you're a victim and they're just doing it to you. It's because they're quite literally a mirror of how you treat the world. I know, man. For some of you guys, your mind is melted. I know, because you thought everybody was doing it to you, and it's not. They're just reflecting you. Damn it, dude. I like preaching to myself today, man. Like I don't know, man. Like I'm feeling it today different than I usually do. And so we can, man. Let's kind of shift a little bit into Good Friday, and kind of talk a little bit about gratitude. Because to be honest with you, the Friday is the kind of the day that I kind of reflect on the week, on what it looked like and how my week was. And so, quite honestly, my week has been truthfully pretty amazing. But also you have to remember, you get what you pay attention to. So you become what you spend most of your time thinking about, right? So for me, most of my mental capacity is on helping people suffer less, loving people, championing people, wanting to pull out their gifts and their talents. That's literally probably over 90% of my mental capacity is on those things, which is why every human being on earth absolutely loves to be around me. But it's because you can't be around me and not feel better as a person, because that's how God wired me, man. And so one of the best practices that I know of, reset the world where you can look at the world through fresh eyes of love and gratitude, is by taking time every week. Good Friday is for me. I love Good Friday, where it's the day of gratitude and thankfulness and Thanksgiving, and a time of reflection. I do it every week. But also I'm a big follower of Michael Hyatt. And if you see anybody of his life planning strategy, it's amazing. I don't know of a person who's got a better holistic life planning strategy than Michael Hyatt. And so for years, I mean, like 15 years, I operate off of a system called GSB CFCFM. I know this sounds weird. GSB, God, Self, Becca, CF, which is the children, then family, then CF again, which is career, and then friends, and then M, which is ministry, which are my heart projects, which you guys know. Years ago, I started a church, and then my other heart project is the Pedaling Against Ponzi's annual charity bike ride, where we, Rebecca and I, champion, and I ride my bicycle 2,000 miles from Dallas to Washington, D.C., and I take the long way around on purpose to bring awareness and champion those that have been affected by Ponzi schemes and financial crimes. Matter of fact, if you guys, I leave in, actually, as a matter of fact, I leave in, are you guys ready for this? It's on my phone, 48 days. So we leave April 16th, and I pull into DC the weekend of Memorial Day. My parents were vets, and dude, I bleed patriotism in the military. You just can't, man. My dad, Pops number one, the most patriotic human being alive. This dude literally, he died at 72, but all the way up until he died, if you literally said, hey, by the way, I bought a Toyota, he would start having a meltdown. Those, and everything for him was GD, GD, Japanese, what they did to us in World War II. You're like, Dad, you weren't even born there. I'm like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, and I'm like, well, by the way, why do you not care that I bought a German car? Because I'm quite positive he was also involved at that time. But you don't care if I have a BMW or Mercedes. Like, weird, right? But just bleed that. And the patriotism from my parents, I can never replace. And so grateful for that. And so, really today, it's a big piece of that is just that, right? Being grateful for that. So GSB, CF, CFM for me is, it's just a little, almost like taking the temperature in the different focuses and areas of my life. So G, right, which be God. The spirituality, kind of the stoicism, the grounding part. And we've got our monthly, we call them monthly church services called market meetups. And our very first one, we get to start in Tulsa the first weekend in the first Saturday in April. And I'm so freaking excited about it because this has been years I've been working on this. And for the church piece of it, the monthly meetup, MRKT is different. M is ministry, helping people suffer less. R is relationships, right? K is knowledge, and then T is training. And so it's really about that. But, one of the things that I've had to learn through the years is to trust the timing of everything. And Marcus Aurelius was famous for being obviously a really well-known leader, ruler, but also soldier, and leading a really powerful army, and also philosopher. And one of the most famous things that he stated, it's written years ago, was amore fati, love your fate, love your fate. And he would talk to his soldiers. If you're getting rained on, it's cold, love it, want more of it. But you understand why. It's not that he's teaching them that they need to be tougher and more calloused. He's teaching them that misery only happens with comparison. And so if you're always comparing your current situation to where you used to be or where you want to be, it is humanly impossible for you to be living in peace. You can't. So what Marcus Aurelius is saying is the only way to live in peace within yourself is amore fati. Love where you're at and trust that the Creator is working even though you don't see it, right? So to me, what I need to do better for next week is to kind of plan out like the first 10 or 15 minutes, kind of that, I don't know, like that stoic, like pre-morning routine, to visualize those obstacles and kind of choose the wear the white hat response. Like think about what the day is going to look like, work through that, and then build that. So for me next week, that's going to be something I'm going to work on for by the time, and my goal this time next week is I get to report to you guys I've been working on that. But self, for me, that's my health and like my spirit, right? And so, for me, I have created that morning routine, with what I eat, my fiber, my saltwater, I mean, I'm turning 50 this year, right? So I feel like I've just barely grown up. And so I'm back in college, and so, I feel like, you know, um, this week when it comes to that, and not only that, I'm training for the bike ride. So I have a mandatory 4 days a week. I've got to be on a treadmill. And so I feel like for self, I'm doing pretty good. I don't think there's necessarily anything on that, but I'm going to be thinking and praying through that. B for Becca, obviously my marriage and partnership with my queen. Um, she and she's had her birthday on the 23rd Monday. And, it's difficult because when you work with your spouse, and literally I couldn't even fathom not working with her. Like when you go through life understanding that everybody has their own gifts and talents and you don't think that you're in competition with anybody, but you just create with everybody, then you actually learn to get very, very excited because that person is there to complement your weaknesses. Their strengths complement your weaknesses. And so it is difficult to see her as a spouse first, rather than like somebody that I help run the business with, co-owner, if you will. It's difficult because during the day, 8, 10, my days are usually 12 hours, but all day long, it's that. And to be back with, hey, babes, how are you doing? And back to spouse, it is difficult. And so, but one of the things I'm going to do for next week is set aside either probably a lunch or something with her where it's just like marriage sync, where it's going to be forbidden for us to discuss anything about the business. It's just where she and I get to sync up spouse first, not partner, not biz partner. So kids in my family, man, my first CF. I'm helping my grandmother write her memoir. She's got so much, she's 93, I think. And so my family has been always really important to me. And I got to tell you something, man. I've got great, great kids. And, but the kids, me included, when they go through their 20s, they become little tyrants. I always call them 2-year-old Great Danes because they are full-size adults, but they're still children. And so the problem is that we get tricked into thinking they're adults mentally, and they're not. They're Great Danes. They're 2-year-old Great Danes. So their body is there, but their brain is still a kid. And as a parent, it is so easy to get pissed because you think that they're thinking like an adult and they're not. And so I tell you, man, if you're going through what I'm going through or have gone through that, just understand your job's to trust, amore fati, love where you're at. Don't try to do anything, but just love. And so same thing, like I've got to send a message to my daughter and I'm just going to, it's been a couple weeks. I'm going to do like a little note to my daughter I'm going to have that done for sure. 'Cause I don't know. I feel like she kind of needs it. She deserves it. She's got 3 kids. I always joke that her husband is the 4th kid. And so she has to raise basically 4 kids, and her oldest happens to be the husband, who's a 2-year-old Great Dane. And so, but to me, I need to schedule a little bit more one-on-one time. So not only reach out to my daughter, because I talked to my son a little bit more. Once my daughter started having kids, like she's never reached out again. Like it's not because she doesn't want to, it's just because, unless you're intentional, that stuff doesn't happen intentionally. You have to be intentional. It doesn't happen by accident. And so I want to schedule some one-on-one time in the next month before I leave. I'm going to do one-on-one, both kids. It's been a while. My son's a little easier because we go play golf. My daughter, we just go grab coffee and hang out. And so, but career. So I feel like we've got it all dialed in with that, but I'm so grateful for the place that I've been able to be in and do the show. This is not work for me. That's what I was saying before. Amore fati, engineer your lifestyle in such a way where you're addicted to your lifestyle because it's pleasurable, not because you're trying to force discipline on yourself. That is never long-standing, right? And so for me, I feel very, very lucky and blessed. And not only that, I get to work with the greatest team on earth. And then we go to the friends, right? Which is like community and peer groups, right? And so for me, community and peer groups is simple, man. Like that is, I don't know, like friends. When I was younger, I was obsessed with being important, being noticed. And I would always say, I want 1,000 people at my funeral. But that just means that I have 1,000 acquaintances and no real true friends or relationships. And so for me, I had to be very, very strategic and put a lot of boundaries up and say no a lot of times. And so I've got my core handful of friends. I've got the guys, the team that I get to visit with every week for the peer advisory group. It's like my own personal, executive council, board of directors. And so I feel that I'm surrounded by a lot of great business friends, right? But I need to schedule some one-on-one time with some friends that are outside of that. And matter of fact, I'm going to go text one of my friends today and see if he wants to hang tonight. Rebecca's going out of town with her sister. And so, you know what that means? I get to go hang out with a friend, but still be in bed by 9. So all my friends know if we hang out by 7:30, they already know they can set a watch to it. I'll be like, well, time for me to get out of here. Like, we know, get going, bro. And then ministry. So for me, those are my heart projects. And I think it's important for you guys to know, like, what makes AA Ron tick, and it's people, and I can't stand suffering. I don't function well when people are suffering, and so for me, when I see you can't do what we do for accounting and sit across the table, and me being a plant engineer for 20 years, and sit across the table from individuals that were taken advantage of, and to see the permanent damage to the individual and their family. You understand, it's in my opinion, Ponzi schemes and financial crimes is, to me, I don't know of a crime worse than this one. When I say worse, not as in because it's money, and I understand that, but when I'm talking about worse, as in the fact that it's a crime that has the most silent victims. Like, people are like, oh no, like rape. No, not even close, not even remotely close. Because if you were taken advantage of by a Ponzi scheme or financial crime, you spend the rest of your life in guilt. How did you fall for it? And you don't breathe a word to anyone, nobody. You're not playing chicken foot with your friends on the weekend talking about the Ponzi. No, because you're too embarrassed and ashamed. You won't say a word. And more often than not, the kids don't even know about it until they read it in the will. That's not okay, man. It's not okay. And so every year I torture myself, and I start at Buc-ee's in DFW, and I ride all the way to Washington, D.C. To champion these amazing families, because nobody is helping them. So for me, my heart projects, the church that we started years ago, the fact that we get to have our first outside group in Tulsa starting up in April, bro, it's everything to me. And so I do need to spend some time with the bike ride. We started doing our goal planning. And so I've got a bunch of stuff I got to get done between now and then. But, I just thought it was important for you guys to see how AA Ron plans my stuff, and so, and I wanted to kind of help you guys and give you guys inspiration, because I know a lot of times if you spend most of your time thinking about what's wrong in the world or finding the mistakes, it is very difficult to find the things you're grateful for. But once you start doing it, and you have to be intentional in the beginning, but after a while, then it just becomes second nature. It just is like breathing. It's like your heart pumping. You don't even think about it. Your lens that you go through life goes from like the red lenses, like I always think like the 1980s glasses, the red lens and the blue lens. So the red lens is just walking through everything, picking everything apart, being critical, being analytical, seeing the fault in everything, which, by the way, is still there. Remember, this is what's nuts. You're not making this up. It's what you choose to focus on through the lens. Which lens are you wearing for the day? And today's Good Friday, man. You don't understand how your life changes when it starts operating from the blue lens of kindness, gratitude, and respect. You don't know how your life changes, how the peace, the torment, and the warring goes away because of treating, Good Friday like the day of gratitude, right? So hopefully, my little thing of the law of attraction and law of detraction helped you guys. But if it's okay with you, my favorite thing is always finishing with a Scott Adams reframe. And then, and by the way, I think you guys are going to be blown freaking away with today's reframe. Okay, so before Scott passed, the year before, he wrote a book, his last book, called How to Reframe Your Brain. It's right here. Right. I tell everybody, go read it. Go buy it, go read it, go support. It's basically, I tell everybody 100 years from now, we'll look back and call them our modern day Oracle. Just amazing. The creator of Dilbert, guy's ridiculous. And so here's Reframe. We're talking about chapter 2, success reframes. And here's what he said. And tell me, I just feel like this resonated with me, and I feel like it's going to resonate with some of you guys too. He says, I won't try to tell you that anyone can succeed at anything they want if they approach the challenge with enthusiasm and passion. That would be nuts. He said, I probably succeed about 10% of what I try, no matter how hard I try. But I generally try a lot of long shot ideas that could be huge if they work. I only need 1 out of 10 to win big, and I'm in pretty good shape. He said, one of the several projects I will have worked on this year. I might try adding an interview feature on my YouTube channel. Wow. When he wrote this, he knew that he had the cancer, but he thought he was going to be cured. He would never have said that because he passed away January 13th of this year. Recently, I began testing my own funny but useful cooking show for people who don't know anything about at-home meal prep. I'll test several content ideas to see what catches on. A year from now, I'm sure I'll be able to say I tested 10 different content ideas to see what created its own energy in my mind and among my audience. I've been testing ideas. He says, I've been testing ideas at about that rate of 10 per year for decades, and I still have no idea in advance which will work out. I'm bad at estimating my own odds of success in any specific domain, so I compensate with volume. That's what I recommend for you too. If the first thing you try doesn't work, try something else. You never know for sure what will click. For example, you might go on 10 dates before finding a good romantic match, or you might try 10 side jobs before one fits and becomes your career. Think of it this way. I fail at 90% of the things I try, but here's the new reframe. I only need to succeed 10% of the time. You can choose to feel like a loser every time something doesn't work out, or you can reframe your situation as a winner's journey that might take some time. He said, I recommend the winner's reframe. Did that not encourage you guys? Did that not just kind of strengthen you guys and give you guys some direction? I tell you guys, I really want you guys to have a great day, a great weekend. And I want to thank you again for hanging out with me, for listening. You guys know that we exist as a firm to help you suffer less. So if you heard me today talking about peer advisory groups and how they changed my life, and I've been involved in them for 20 years, or about how we're the only firm on earth that's accounting plus accountability, then look, there's 2 ways to get to us. Business for Breakfast Radio. Submit a question. I'll reply back or read on air. Or you can schedule time to talk to me directly. This dude at speakwithaaron.com, speakwithaaron.com. Always talk to me about anything. We can talk about accounting, strategy, consulting, business accounting, OBBA laws, taxes, payroll, whatever. I know a little bit about all of it. And I think I can help you get unstuck, because in the end, we all need each other, right? It takes a village to raise a business. Are you guys hearing me right now? Now, if that was not the greatest Business for Breakfast show you've ever seen, you guys did not watch the show, or you are deaf. Okay. So guys, remember what we talked about today. Everything is based off of your mindset. If you think it's hard or you think it's easy, you're right. I don't want you guys just working in your business. You need to make sure you're minding your own business. All right, my beautiful people. You got the news, you got the tips and tricks. Now go own this freaking day. Okay. You guys know what time it is. What time is it? Come on now. Comments. You guys know what time it is. It's simple, man. It is time to get to work. Have a great weekend. Kapow!